What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/ProRevenge. This story's called Builders Dump Stuff in Front of My Office Door. Builder's Lunch Now Paints the Walls. I work alone in a small office in a public building that is undergoing some renovations while it's closed to the public. There's an office space in front of my office that is usually unoccupied. Think of an office space with a manager's office attached at the end. I just rent the manager's office. Building managers were supposed to notify us if they ever intended to rent out the space in front of my office so we could build a temporary wall or something, so I didn't need to walk through someone else's office to get to mine. But I guess they thought they didn't need to do this because the builders are only there temporarily. So now the space is occupied by the site office for construction. I'm slightly annoyed at the building management for not notifying me of this, but I'm way more annoyed at the builders because the space has turned into a dumping ground. To get to my office, I have to walk past light fixtures, tool bags, random chairs in the walkway, and a toilet bowl. And I have to listen to builders talking crap while 12 of them sit in a room fit for 5 having lunch. It's like a teenager's bedroom, but instead of clothes and stale socks, the floor is covered in building materials and tools. I ask them to keep it clean as it's the walkway to my office and not a storeroom, and they say sure, but basically roll their eyes at me and do nothing. So I took some pictures of the mess and reported it to building management, and 1 week later they tidied up, slightly.
We cleaned up a bit round here for you, mate. No need to thank us.
As I walked in that morning. A few hours later, and it was almost worse than it was before, to the point I couldn't leave my office without moving 4 boxes of supplies out from directly in front of the door yesterday. I also hear them whispering about how I'm such a cooter and a stuck-up public servant. I'm private sector, but whatever. Cut to today. I go to step out to get a coffee, and before I open the door, I look through the window of the door to see someone's half-eaten spaghetti sitting on the floor right in front of the doorway. I lose my composure for a moment and say, screw it! Open the door and trip on the bowl of spaghetti, causing it to spray all over the room and the 2 builders in the room. Spaghetti gets on everything. Sauce on their computers, noodles in the bloody toilet bowl, it's in the carpet, and most impressively, all over the builders. They start to shout at me, but I get just as mad, saying, "Who the hell puts a bowl of spaghetti on the floor in front of a door?" I kind of snapped at this point and started lambasting them, which is very out of character for me. I told them, "This is an office, not a storeroom," and "You're worse than my teenage nephew," and told them to clean their crap up or I'll start kicking everything aside that's in the path, delicate or not. They sheepishly say yes, and I go get my coffee. When I return, no one is in the office, and the mess is still on everything. I think they wiped the laptops down, but I don't care at this point, and retreat into my office and focus on work. Fast forward a few hours, and I get an email from the building management. I crack a huge smile as I read an email basically saying, "The builders reported your conduct and had us come inspect the damage. However, we noticed the unacceptable amounts of mess in the office space had not been cleared up from the last time we asked them to, and they admitted the food was placed on the floor in front of the doorway. So we expect them to clean up the mess, pay for cleaning, and place no blame on you in this case. If the mess comes back, call us directly as they are on their last warning from a few other incidents in the building." It was a longer and more official email, but you get the point. So now I'm occasionally looking through the door while the builders crawl around on their hands and knees scrubbing spaghetti out of the carpet. I'm not proud of losing my cool and handling things the way I did, but I won't deny that it worked, and it felt really good. My nose is stuffy, but besides that, that's some good revenge, I guess, tripping on their spaghetti. It got results though, so I gotta give you some credit there, buddy. This story's called Forget Your Neck Strap? Have mine! This happened last marching band season. My high school band director likes to invite middle schoolers to be in the marching band, even though they'd only be there for after-school practice. And this is where Fish Kid came in. We called this 8th grader Fish Kid because he was an annoying brat who absolutely did not want to be there. He also looked like a goldfish from PetSmart. He would go hide in the bathroom and play Fortnite instead of actually playing. Called his parents to come get him early, acted like his alto saxophone was broke, and always forgot his neck strap. One day we were marching down to the field, and guess what? Fish Kid forgot his neck strap again. So I came up with a masterful plan. Now, Fish Kid plays an alto saxophone. They are pretty small and lightweight. I play a baritone saxophone. 20 plus pounds and giant. I basically make him use my neck strap, because I'm his section leader, he has to listen to me, and I proceed to march the whole 10-minute show without a neck strap, supporting the weight of that baritone sax on just my thumb was pretty painful, but not unbearable. However, I made sure I had a face full of pain and agony the whole time I marched, and made sure he saw. I over-exaggerated everything I was feeling to make him feel like he was gonna cause me to break my thumb or something, and just to teach him about wearing his own neck strap. After the first run, he tried to give me my neck strap back, but I refused. We ran the show again, and I made my acting performance even better this time. After we ran the show twice, we had a break. During the break, Fish Kid apologized profusely that he forgot his, gave my neck strap back, and said he would never forget it again, and he didn't. I went and talked to my band director and drum major afterwards. They were concerned for me also, but after I told them the whole story, they chuckled. The best part? No one else noticed but my section and Fish Kid, so now it's like a band urban legend.
Band kids, am I right?
This story's called Dad's Colleague Has Enough of Being Phoned by Conservatory Companies, So Gets Petty. If you lived in the UK during the early 2000s, you probably experienced an influx of calls from companies trying to sell you a conservatory. I don't know if it's still a thing, but back then, you'd sometimes get 3 to 4 a week. You'd get the hardline, pushy sales team trying to get that free quote meeting out of you. Honestly, it was like the PPI thing and annoying. My dad's friend, Tony, lived in a second-floor flat and used to get these calls regularly. One company in particular used to call him pretty much weekly, trying to sell him a conservatory. Eventually, Tony had enough and accepted the excited sales rep's offer to come out. On the day of the meeting, Tony met him on the street outside, and when the sales rep got out, casually pointed to his second-floor window and said,
So what type do you think would be good for that then? Gets plenty of sun.
The sales rep gets really pissed and asked if he was joking. After Tony invited him to come up to prove he wasn't, the sales rep started shouting that he'd had his precious time wasted and other customers were waiting. Tony casually said,
Well, you phoned me,
and went back inside, leaving the sales rep to burn rubber in a temper out of there. He still got calls, but never from that company again. You know what? That's a pretty cool story, and it's very inspiring to those who constantly have to deal with sales, spam call, crap things all the time. Oh my god, so many calls every freaking week. This story's called Steal My Milk, Drink My Piss. After going to rehab, I lived in a move-on house, basically the second stage of recovery housing. People came and went, but it generally was a good community of 6 or 7 of us. Anyway, I soon noticed my drinks were going down. Milk, coffee, etc. I knew who it was. He was a scumbag. No one really liked him. He took liberties and was a bit of a Richard. So one night I went downstairs and pissed in my milk. maybe about a pint of whey and 4-pint carton of milk. I also put gravy and salt into my instant coffee, and left it there and went about my business after taking all the storable food up to my room. Time went by and no one said anything, but the milk went down. Oh, it went down so much, and every time it did, I felt a warm glow. Fast forward a few years, and I met this guy's mate who also lived with us. We were talking, and he said in a joking way, obviously meant as a way to talk down to me,
Yeah, thanks for all the milk.
I replied, my pleasure. Do you know, for the last 3 months, I was pissing in the milk? He stopped. His face dropped, and I laughed and said something like, oh god, yes, so much piss. So much piss, and laughed. He went very silent, and I walked away from that conversation, feeling smug and not ashamed to say, wonderful. He starts being all attitudey one day, so you ask him, who pissed in your Cheerios? This story's called, Thanks for the Great Teaching Materials, Guys. Have fun using them. Short background. I work for an education company providing supplementary classes to rich kids. I just quit after 2.5 years. 2 weeks ago, my company asked me to deliver a history course. No problem, says I. I haven't taught history in a while, so I'll need some time to prepare the course. But otherwise, sure, happy to. Don't worry, says my company, we have prepared the material for you. You just need to teach the class. It starts tomorrow. Thanks.
Fornication under consent of the king.
So I look at the material. It couldn't be more useless. Just a couple of pages photocopied from some random Billy Age 5 guide to history book. Random crap picked up with no coherence. I'm screwed. I then spent the next few nights making a complete 2-week course on World War II, planning the course as I teach it. The plan involved going through all theaters and major events of the war from start to finish. Lots of interactive maps I made on Blender, video clips from movies, lesson plans, etc. Quite proud of the result. It's only a 2-week course, so I can have a good beginning, middle, and end. I completed the course on Friday, coincidentally my last day at the company. Kids are happy, I'm happy. Well done, everyone! Just got a message from the company on Sunday night, just now, asking me for the material for the 3rd week. The 3rd week of a 2-week course? Now that I have left, they want to keep the course running because it went so well. So I sent their random textbook pages back to them. You're welcome. Well, you know what? I appreciate all the effort you went through for those kids. So, yeah, screw those guys. You don't need them. This story's called, Give Me the Silent Treatment for Something Out of My Control? I'll ruin your birthday and make you question your manhood. My ex-boss was not a good person. He was controlling, egotistical, quick to anger, a womanizer, and hated depending on anyone, because that would mean he isn't in control. Boss ran a sports program, which grew from 600 to 1,000 over my time working there, and had hired me to run the office and head the children's program due to my experience working with larger programs in the same sport. Children make up about 80% of the program. Boss thought he was too good to mix with most of his clients or their families. He mixed mainly with the adults, particularly the attractive female ones, and never answered the phone or general emails. So pretty much everyone knew, contact Pepper for everything. So one day, an email gets sent directly to him, addressed to Pepper and Boss. He didn't talk to me for the rest of the day. I tried to talk to him, email him, and get answers I needed for his business, and he was ignoring me. I thought I was going mad, as he had never done this before, and I'm fairly soft-spoken at work. Did he just not hear me while I was 5 feet away? The next day, I asked him a question, and he responded with, "Don't you know? I mean, you're so important that people address emails to you first." I was fuming. Like, are you seriously willing to jeopardize your business and clients because of a literal nothing? Treating me like crap, all because your ego can't handle it? No, not gonna let that stand. One last thing. Boss is turning 50 soon. I was 26 to 27 at the time, and he had vaguely come on to me before. Gross. But it never went anywhere. I knew he was feeling insecure about getting older and was questioning, was he still a man? Still strong and virile? Would he still have it for the ladies? I knew what had to be done. We are talking, and I mention I know his birthday is coming up soon. How old would he be? 50? Wow, a milestone. My mom turned 50 a few years ago, and it was quite an affair. Then I dropped this. The Devastator. You're only a few years younger than her. I guess that means you're old enough to be my father. He immediately clammed up. He didn't speak to me for the rest of the day, and didn't come in for the next two. Checkmate. This was almost 5 to 7 years ago. I found the best way to ask innocent questions and or act like you're observing out loud without malice, when actually, that's what you're doing. Honestly, this seems like a TV show sort of dynamic. I dig it, I really do. This story's called It's a Funeral, Not X Factor. Various edits. I made a great many spelling mistakes. So this isn't really a massive revenge, but it takes place at my great-grandmother's funeral, Vera. It's one of my fondest memories. All the names in this story will be fake. This story takes place in 2016. So my great-aunt Karen is absolutely horrible. She brags about how stingy she is. She paid for her daughter's wedding. The altar was on wheels and tries constantly to bring others down. She was always horrible to Vera when she was alive, and when she died, let's say she died at 8, the house was cleared out at 9, on the market at 10, and the first viewing was booked for 11:30. At Vera's funeral, which she planned, she refused to let my mother sing, which was odd because she wanted my cousin, her grandson, to do a reading. The day of the funeral, he said he didn't want to read, and all was well. Here comes the revenge. Now, my family are all trained singers. This includes granddad, mom, dad, bro, and me. During the hymns, we were all singing quietly out of respect for everyone. But along comes Karen. She takes it upon herself to attempt to sing louder than us. We can all hear her off-key caterwauling. We all shared a look and gradually began to crescendo. Now, Karen didn't notice this at first, but as she did, she began to get louder. Perfect. We'd prepared for this exact situation. We'd learned all the hymns, all the harmonies, and the descents to them as well. We suddenly burst out full volume in 4-part harmony. She looked back at us in shock, then continued to try and outsing us. Bless her. She didn't stand a chance against 3 classically trained singers and 2 ex-church choir boys. Suffice to say, it was a fun funeral. I've got very mixed feelings about this one.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.